All right.
The freshman football team won, by the way.
Awesome.
They're like Jim, so.
His son scored a touchdown. So let's get down on the first, right?
Yeah.
Even though Dry said he would score a touchdown. So
Yeah.
So the reason why I asked Mr. Heller to call this LRO meeting was because we've been having an influx of issues, I'm not gonna say problems, issues with e-bikes around town. I did some research. The Ohio Revised Code actually covers e-bikes pretty well. They actually have classifications, which I did not know. I'm sure you guys know this, but I didn't know. I had to educate myself. There are different classes of e-bikes. There's a class 1, class 2, and class 3. And on every e-bike, it should be clearly marked, whether it's class 1, class 2, class 3, making enforcement possible for the state legislation. They do have strict rules. A lot of other communities have imposed even stricter rules. The reason why I wanted this LRO meeting is because I wanted to discuss it with council and see if this is something that they would like me to start bringing forward as an ordinance for the city. I personally feel it's needed. We've had several accidents involving e-bikes lately. We've had a couple of arrests, believe it or not, involving the chief of police and e-bikes.
Just did a wheelie in front of me, in front of 818.
Well, it's
coming right at me.
I personally see it all over town. I've seen, e-bikes going excessive on the sidewalk. I've seen them breaking traffic laws going down State Street just recently. And I just feel that the city of Fremont needs to pass an ordinance so we have some rock solid legislation in our ordinance book that would allow our police officers to enforce these rules that are already in place by the state of Ohio.
you really want to kind of just copy the state, or do you want to add some?
What I suggest is that I copy the state first, right? Everything that they have, which I've already done, I can email that.
Right.
But, and then we can possibly tweak it from there. With your approval, I just want to bring it to you guys' attention. If this is something we want to go forward with, I'll put the effort in, I'll start making arrangements, and I'll start sending out the emails.
Well, if that's, I'm not opposed to that. Do you want to have another LRO meeting before the next meeting? If you get that done, and we can.
I can get it done before the next meeting for sure. I can just email it out. We could just email chain it, any comments and stuff.
What's kind of highlighted in that, like what you have?
Yeah, so-
If you don't mind.
No, I don't mind at all.
Kind of curious. I think they're definitely a nuisance, especially downtown. I mean, they're traveling through there, through markets, on the sidewalks, you got
Well,
little kids.
bingo.
But then there's
And it's
also a lot of
actually
people, I
addressed
think,
in
that's
there.
your sole.
I love to see them have fun.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
and
one
I
takes
understand.
They're also a
everything,
convenience.
huh?
I understand it.
But
But I
were
think
flying on the sidewalk.
somehow you have to regulate it
Oh,
some way
no.
or another, for sure.
Just enforce speed limit.
Yeah,
where
and
you
traffic
ride
laws.
it. Right.
There's actually a speed limit section in the ORC that says that they can't go over 15 miles an hour.
Really?
Yeah, I included that in my little kind of draft thing that I did here.
So that's it, I bought my son one, but I did the class 1, because my wife, love her to death, but that's why she did class 1. But I got a buddy that his son's bike, he's an elder, Eli Elder, his bike does 45 miles an hour. And I'm like,
Yeah, but
that's
there's
scary.
I guarantee
There's like
that
7 or 8 bikes at the Ross bike rack that they ride to school every day. So for a lot of, I know it's the main mode of transportation, so.
I want to be perfectly clear that I am not opposed to e-bikes. I own one. I do, however, think that there needs to be some rules in place so people start riding
Right.
responsible.
right.
Well, I'm all for that.
I think, just from my
Actually, no,
perspective,
too.
I think, when you talk about these e-bikes and you think about, I think before we just start putting all these new rules in place, we need to understand the impact of maybe doing some type of, looking at some data to see what kind of accidents we're having, what type of police reports we're receiving. And I was looking on my phone, I saw accidents are gonna happen, collisions, whether it's an accident or a collision, things are gonna happen, right? But I saw earlier that on social media, I don't know, someone's child was pretty severely hurt. I mean, EMS probably responded to the scene, and she put the lacerations of this kid's arm, and it was cut open. I think Mr. Liebel made a statement that, they are a form of transportation. And when we start thinking about these, we need to think about what type of enforcement can even be enforced and how it's going to be enforced. Because we have enforcement issues in general, specifically with traffic and speeding and things like that, I know that we put a lot of pressure on our law enforcement officers to try to do. But also, I guess what I'm saying is, we're looking at, and we're gonna have a presentation at some point about complete streets. And when you look at complete streets, you know, there's been somewhat of an emphasis put on bike lanes, you know, in the city. And I think the bigger problem, in my opinion, driving through this town is lack of enforcement for the rules that are already easily enforceable.
Well, this is copied off of state law.
Well, here's what I'm saying, is primarily what I see as becoming a problem in our community is juveniles on e-bikes. And some adults, but primarily juveniles, what I see, just simply disobeying traffic stop signs, riding up and down the street the opposite lane of other cars, whether it's excessive speed or not, I can't tell you. But I can tell you this, at 15 miles an hour, a lot of damage can still be done to someone, or to another driver. When you're driving and you got 2 or 3 of these youth coming at you on their e-bikes, and you don't know whether to keep going or whether just to go into a complete stop or whatever that is. And that's happening every day now today.
Right.
With no enforcement.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, if we're gonna look at creating new laws or following state laws for e-bikes, we should be working with the health department and coming up with some proactive awareness campaign in the community, and making people aware that, you know, this is a problem, and creating public awareness and letting people know that this is what we expect as a city, and this is what we're gonna do as a police department. It's gotta be a collaborative effort, right? We can easily come to council and pass an ordinance. But the 7 people across the room here aren't gonna be the one to enforce the laws that we're presenting to council on. And even if we get into compliance with quote-unquote state law, we need to focus on enforcing what we can enforce. You know, our problematic areas are our parks, the rec center, and downtown Fremont. I think, you know, we're talking about, I'm not against what the safety service director is saying at all. I'm just saying that there's a lot of traffic violations happening on these e-bikes every single day today.
Well, in my opinion, this would be a great step, would it be to pass an ordinance, city ordinance on it, and then start a campaign from there saying this is what we have and this is what we're gonna be doing. For as far as the police department goes.
Yeah.
Is there a age limit
Yeah.
in that?
So it's defined in there, a class 3 e-bike can't be ridden by anybody under the age of 16. And I believe under the age of 16, you have to have a helmet, which I'm sure nobody's aware of.
Do they have to have a license?
No license,
No
just a helmet.
motorcycle license, nothing?
Sounds like you've obviously read these laws before, right? I mean,
For e-bikes?
yeah,
No, but I want to now.
okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna really.
Are these state laws now?
Yeah.
It,
Yep.
it says here that under the age of 18 shall wear a helmet.
I thought it was 16, but if I'm getting
Yeah, I think the same rules
It says
apply to
no
like
person-
moped too as
It
well,
does.
16.
I think
so-
that's my class, so.
No person under the age of 16 shall operate a class 3
Yeah.
e-bicycle. All operators of class 3 electric bicycles under the age of 18 shall wear a helmet.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it just depends on the class. It's the same as a moped. Some mopeds go 25 miles an hour, you gotta wear a helmet. It just depends on the
So,
speed you can get up to.
another question I have, Councilman Lible, I don't know if you can answer this from an attorney standpoint. If there's state laws already in place now that are there, those laws are enforceable today because they're state law. So if we create local ordinances, does that do anything different? I believe it does, but I don't know. For
Well,
example, fines and costs under local ordinance would be to the city of
To us.
Fremont and not share with the city. Okay, however, don't know what the state law reads, but if it's a jailable offense, and if it could become jailable, and you cite under local ordinance, then that becomes also the cost to the local government and not to the state.
Yeah, I think you're right on both of those, but I don't know at what point it become a jailable offense. But I think it's just like an OVI, being an OVI under a city code, we don't charge it because it's jailable. The parking tickets you do generally charge under the
Right.
city code,
And
so,
I'm basing this off my experience working at the court.
yeah.
And I also know that, separate from, I don't want to get off e-bikes, but just for council's knowledge, if you were operating like an ATV on city roadway, that's a city ordinance violation. It could be a state violation, but under our city ordinance, the judge has a mandatory minimum sentence of 3 days incarceration. Like, locked up in jail, if you're convicted of operating an ATV on the roadway illegally, and the ATV gets seized. However, that 3 days, that 3 day stay at the Hilton jail, has to be paid out by the city of Fremont, not by the state. If that makes sense. So that's why I'm asking, those are some of my questions about, I guess, if we create local ordinances, for these, the monetary fines, I think, would then just be shared to the city and not have to be shared with the state, compared to if you cite under state code, then those dollars get dispersed to the state and only a portion comes to the city. I believe I'm correct.
Yeah, I think that's
That's how it works.
So, and I guess, Mr. Frost, when we're looking at this, and I haven't really reviewed it too much, and I appreciate you putting the effort into this, and I think that's why we're having these conversations. Is there a fee structure or a fine structure set up
So
under
that's,
the local proposal?
so that, under the local proposal I have right now, we do not have a fee structure to present at this time. That was
Okay.
something I was discussing with Mr. Mully. It's my understanding that we, as the city, have the right to set whatever fee structure we deem necessary, not, and we don't have to follow ORC necessarily on the fee structure. So that would also be another topic that I just had to clear that with Mr. Melly. He's not here, so.
No, that makes sense.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's important. I don't want to see anybody get hurt out there. I'm sure nobody does. But I do agree with the mayor that there's a lot of laws out there that we could be enforcing. And if we do something like this, I 100% agree that there should be a collaborative campaign presenting this to the public between the health department, the police department, maybe even the rec department for the bike trail. Like this wouldn't be, we can't just pass this and then say, okay, it's the ordinance now. You know, we've got to go further with it
So
for
Mr. Frost,
education.
where do they get these e-bikes?
I
I'm
have
new to
no idea.
this.
I bought mine on Facebook Marketplace. So
I bought mine offline,
Okay,
You can buy them anywhere.
Amazon.
okay,
Um,
I was just curious.
I guess as we're having this LRR meeting, I commend the safety service director for trying to be proactive before we lose a life, an adult life or a young life, to not have this conversation, because
There's questions going around town about this.
I think it's almost like the city is, we're not the only community dealing with this, by the way. It's almost like the e-scooters all over again, except everyone has one, and they're a lot faster.
A lot
You know,
faster.
So,
This
where
one is
they're a good thing, but then you talk about the speed of them, and you talk about getting out to Walmart, and you start talking about getting out to areas where it's not just driving down, you know, Front Street, stopping at a stop sign, you know, and you start thinking about, okay, 15 miles an hour really isn't that fast. And if you have one of those bikes, trying to control that speed, go into some of those areas on Oak Harbor Road, I mean, these bicycles, if that's what they're called, I mean, they keep up with traffic, you know, on,
I've seen them keeping up on State Street.
faster than golf carts, you know, on the road, you know.
I have a question. If I'm correct, having a driver's license is a privilege, not a right. Am I correct on that?
That's true.
That's true.
That's true. Now, with an e-bike, is that a privilege or is that a right?
Well, you don't need a license for that, right?
So, because what I'm thinking is, too, people might say, well, geez, you know, you're taking transportation away from my child. Not really, they can use a regular bicycle, like we, like.
See, most of them are pedal assist, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, majority of them got pedals on them.
Yeah.
Mostly all of them have.
But like what John was saying though, I mean, like at the high school, he said there's nine of these bikes,
Yeah,
bike
for the
racks.
kids that walk to school,
For
for
the
sure.
kids that walk to school, you're coming all the way out from Buchanan, the complete east side coming to the high school, so it's probably a bonus for attendance or parents being able to get their children to and from
Oh, for
school.
sure.
We just need some sort of law, or ordinance, I should say, not law, ordinance, restricting some of this, or making people aware, like I can tell you right now, my kid has no clue that he's gotta follow the traffic law
And I
when he's on that
guarantee you,
e-bike.
hardly anybody does.
No, yeah, I mean, they should be doing it with bicycles too,
Yep.
so.
It should be. I mean, the bicycles technically aren't even supposed to be ridden on the sidewalk.
Sidewalk, yeah, it's supposed to be on the road.
Right.
Yep.
And I think Mr. Frost is doing that tonight, he's trying to create awareness amongst the
Yeah,
council,
definitely.
for the public to start having these conversations.
Yeah. So like I said, this is,
Start.
the reason for this meeting is if this is something that you wish me to keep working on, I will.
Yeah, I think we should.
Absolutely.
Can I just make a comment as a resident of Fremont, Ohio? I live on Hayes Avenue, right at the intersection of Buckland, Rice, and Hayes Avenue. So it gets a lot of traffic in late afternoon school.
Dear.
Deer, yes, two yesterday in the backyard. But the amount of, I understand, I think that the e-bikes are a great, environmentally, it's a great option.
Sure.
And for people that can't afford cars, it's a great way of transportation. Environmentally, I think it's a wonderful thing for communities to have these options. But I totally agree with this conversation because the amount of children that we see on scooters, the little scooters go at a really good clip. And I watch the same children every day, back and forth after school. I'm sure there are a lot of kids that get to school on the scooters because we see the same kids every day. And even those scooters, there may be 2 or 3 children that wear helmets. Just this afternoon, I watched a young man, I'm gonna guess he was between 12 and 14 years old, riding lawnmower with one of those elevated cutters on the bottom of it, so it was like one of those larger ones, down the sidewalk across the street from me. I don't know where he went, but he came back right up my side of the sidewalk. Maybe he went and mowed someone's yard, but to me it looked like a mode of transportation. So there's a lot of motorized vehicles that don't have restrictions on them riding around the city of Fremont. And so I know we had the scooters. I thought the scooters were a great thing, but I don't think the city had the right parameters in place for contracts with those sort of scooter systems. So I think doing this is a great thing because we're gonna get ahead of the game, because e-bikes are not going away. I mean, I think it's gonna really seriously be the mode of transportation within the next 10 years.
And the other thing that we're not talking about really is, not to go too old school, but double riding. I mean, seeing kids putting 2 on one bike. I mean, you almost just want to turn your head and hope nothing happens.
See that in Massachusetts, they just had that kid 17 just killed 2 girls on one.
Yeah, you see it, and I don't know, I mean, you want to stop and say, hey, get that kid off, and I mean, your natural instinct is to say, get that 5-year-old kid off that bike riding on them handlebars like that, and.
What if they start pulling the radio red flyer wagons?
Well, I'm just saying, it's funny till it's not, right? Until something, and the more, and that's why I appreciate you bringing this conversation up. And it's very hard when no one in this room has the answer on really what to do, right? And I don't think it's one person's responsibility in here to fix this problem, but as a community, I think as a community, it's our problem to bring awareness to this with our health department and our rec center and our YMCA, and try to put some money towards resources for some type of safety campaign, I guess.
So I think I'm hearing my marching orders. continue with this, but along with this, incorporate a campaign along with it for the launch.
Create a team, we need to
What about
create a
the
team.
Sandusky County Safety First Council, right? They would do that with things with bike helmets, car seats, things like that.
Yeah, I think you're correct, Councilman Elder, and I think everyone in this room is correct. I think we can talk about the stories all night, but to me, Mr. Frost has done the right thing tonight, but the next step is we need to put a team, either myself as the mayor will, or the safety service director and I will work together to get a council member to serve on that team, and work with some other local folks, maybe even some community leaders, even some residents.
Is
right?
that officer allowed to pull over somebody now to justify
Well,
their age?
and that's where I was getting, but I don't wanna go negative.
Right.
The age
Like,
thing, like,
it's not fair for the police, but it's the police department's job, right? Like,
Right.
we need to educate our police department as much as we need to educate ourselves, right? Like, you know, are they stopping when they're seeing these kids and they're observing these traffic violations? Can you imagine as a council member, if you get a call tonight because Officer John Doe wrote a citation to a 13-year-old kid who was leaving out of traffic? Like, we would be getting complaints that, well, couldn't that police officer have handled that differently? Or couldn't they have done this differently? Couldn't they have given them a warning? But,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and so there's catch-22, and sometimes the right thing to do is the wrong thing to do. But when you create awareness to a situation, and you say, hey, this is what's gonna happen, our goal is, we're doing this for the safety of the community, then you start to get community buy-in, you start to get community council buy-in, you start to get other community aid organizations buy-in. So you have to do the hard work up front, that way when you write the ticket or the citation,
Or you put them away for 3 days?
and you need to have the judge, you know, on board, that, you know, it's not anything that we're looking to create records for kids, but we gotta protect the adult or children from themselves, and we need to protect the drivers from the folks that are
And we
driving.
did it with golf carts, so, we did it with golf carts.
I definitely think it can be done, I think
I think it
it's,
can
I'm
be.
willing to put the work into it, so.
The other thing with the golf cart's a little different, because they're on 4 wheels, and they're not.
I know, but what I'm saying is we put the parameters in place,
Absolutely,
we put the
and that's what
laws
we
in
have to do.
place, yes.
Any other questions or comments?
Nope.
Let's save,
I got my marching orders.
yeah. Mr. Frost has an agenda item he wants to add, and we get to that in the agenda. You can explain it again?
Oh, you want me to explain it now?
No, just wait till we get
Okay.
there. It shouldn't take that long.
Are you gonna have the health department do a quick update, like before council starts, or during council?
Just during council, it's already on, it's what, agenda 3?
Okay.
Do it then.
Oh, it is on the agenda?
Yeah, number 3.
Okay. Oh, okay, I don't have my agenda, I apologize.
Yeah.
That's why you don't have it. Oh, thank you.
Do we need to take a break before we get started?
Break, anybody?
No.
Okay, we're ready. Ready?
Hold it, Steve.
Rise for a moment of silent prayer. Filed by pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everyone to the regular meeting of Fremont City Council on the second day of October 2025. As a courtesy, please place all cell phones either off or on silent mode. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Frazier,
Here?
Luis, Addie,
Here.
Elder,
Here.
Libo,
Here.
Reese,
Here.
Sleep.
Here.
Somebody like to?
I'd like, I'd like to make a motion to excuse Councilwoman Reese
I
from
second
tonight's
it.
meeting.
Second.
I'd amend that motion to include Council President.
I second it.
Roll call, please.
Addie,
Yes.
Elder,
Yes.
Libo.
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Sleep,
Yes.
Frazier.
Yes.
Council has received a journal of the minutes of the previous meeting. Are there any additions or corrections? Minutes will stand approved as written and received. There are 4 items on tonight's agenda. Does council wish to remove any item from the agenda? Does council wish to add an item to the agenda?
Madam President Pro Tem, I'd like to add an agenda item. The item is an ordinance adopting the indigent burial and cremation policy for the city of Fremont, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Second.
You want to explain it now?
No, we can get there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cremation?
Yeah, he'll get to it.
Doesn't he explain it now?
No, he thinks the agenda item.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I thought that was.
Nope.
The agenda is set. Roll call.
Addie,
Yes.
Elder,
Yes.
Flabo.
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Sleek,
Yes.
Frazier.
Yes.
Okay, the agenda is set. Council Clerk, would you please read item number 1?
Second reading of a resolution, approval of the Sandusky County Budget Commission's alternative method for apportionment of undivided local government fund to be called local government fund alternative method.
I move to suspend Rule 4.
I second it.
It has been moved and seconded by Mr. Sleek, seconded by Mr. Sleek, and moved on by Jim Elder, or John Elder. Roll call, please.
Elder,
Yes.
Flabo.
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Sleek,
Yes.
Frazier,
Yes.
Addie.
Yes.
Move to adopt.
Second?
It has been moved to adopt by Mr. Elder and seconded by Mr. Frazier. Roll call, please.
Flabo,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Sleek,
Yes.
Frazier,
Yes.
Addie,
Yes.
Elder.
Yes.
That has been moved. That has been passed. Second reading.
Second reading of a resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to sign and accept the material terms of the National Opioid Settlement Conglomerate Agreement, Alvogen, Ammonel, Platex, Hikama, Endivol, Mylan, Sun, and Zadus, the manufacturers, and declaring an emergency.
Make a motion to suspend Rule 4.
I second it.
It has been moved by Mr. Elder to suspend Rule 4 and seconded by Mr. Sleek. Roll call, please.
Reese,
Yes.
Sleek,
Yes.
Frazier,
Yes.
Addie,
Yes.
Elder.
Yes.
Flabo.
Yes.
That has been passed. Rule 4.
Move to adopt.
Second?
Okay, that has been moved to Rule 4 and adopt, and move to adopt.
Question.
Yes.
Are these terms still being worked out, or they're?
You know, this is, I mean, we've got stacks of these lawsuits.
Yeah, I know.
And this one in particular, I was kind of looking into, and from what I can tell on this one, the terms have already been worked out, and the amount that the city of Fremont is receiving off this one is very minimal.
Okay.
Like, I think like $2,000.
Okay.
And we're just voting to accept that amount.
Well, the resolution.
Resolution.
And we've done resolutions on some and not on others, however, one recommended we do a resolution.
Not this one.
And all these names, what are they?
Those are all manufacturers.
Manufacturers.
Drug manufacturers.
I don't see Purdue on there.
Question.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Sleek,
Yes.
Frazier,
Yes.
Addie,
Yes.
Elder.
Yes.
Flabo.
Yes.
Reese.
Yes. That has been passed. Council Clerk, would you please read item number 3?
First reading of a resolution adopting the complete streets policies for the city of Fremont, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Hello,
Good evening.
hi. My name is Laura Bogart, and I'm a nurse and a health educator with Sandusky County Public Health. And the grant that I coordinate is called Creating Healthy Communities, and the focus of that grant is to increase opportunities for people to be more physically active. So I do a lot of active transportation improvements. That includes public transportation, writing policies, pedestrian improvements, those types of things. And then I also do some projects that help give access to people that may not be able to afford foods. So I help with community gardens and those types of things. So that's just a real quick background on what I do. So one strategy for the grant that I have worked on is Complete Streets policies. So a Complete Streets policy is an official commitment of the community to support all users in transportation of all modes, okay? So a real quick background about this policy for Complete Streets. It was actually, this policy was written back in 2018, 2019, okay, for the city of Fremont. And from that time on, you know, the pandemic threw everything off. And then, you know, time just got away from us. And then this past year, I had seen Tucker at a meeting, and I asked him if he would like to revisit, since it's been so many years since it was, the original version was written. I asked him if he would be interested in revisiting it, looking to see if there were any needed updates. And so in October, we started the meeting and reviewing the original policy and just updating the original policy to now. Okay, so you should have that policy in your packet. Okay, so you should have one of these. Okay, so basically Complete Streets is an approach to planning, designing, building, and maintaining streets gradually over time. So this is not anything that is automatic. It is something that takes many, many years for a community to work at. And the policy doesn't say that it's a quick fix, okay? So it makes streets safe and accessible for all users. And then it's different for every community. So every community is different with their Complete Streets policy. So there's 10 elements to a policy, which includes diverse users, jurisdiction, how you're going to implement Complete Streets in your community, your envision and intent for your community, that type of thing. So it's going to look different. In Sandusky County, I have assisted Gibsonburg with writing their policy, and they approved theirs in 2023. And then I also assisted the city of Clyde, and they approved their policy in December of 2023. So I have helped with writing their policies. Complete Streets, what they look like are pedestrian improvements, so sidewalks, crosswalks, accessible and safe. And when I talk about making streets and sidewalks more safer, and the approach is actually not looking at the physical part of a sidewalk, like a ramp or the curb or those types of things. It's also, like with a pedestrian signal, it's being audible for people that are blind that can actually hear the clicking with a pedestrian signal. So it's actually hearing, it's for people with disabilities, it's for all types of users on the streets. Okay? So they're taking all of that into consideration. Some other things Complete Streets look like are traffic calming. So center turning lanes, on-street parking, speed bumps are all parts of a Complete Streets policy or initiative. Disability facilities, reachable buttons. So that's one thing in the policy that I really try to promote is walk audits. And a walk audit is when a group of people, you know, engineers, stakeholders in the community, regular residents, they get together and they walk around a part of the community, maybe a mile or two, and they just kind of note and look around and see what you have, what's good and what's bad. And you notice things like maybe a button to push for a pedestrian signal is way up here when it should be down here for somebody that's in a wheelchair, okay? So that's what it's taking into account people with disabilities. Bike improvements, that's another part of Complete Streets. And I'm so glad that you mentioned e-bikes because I had a little incident a couple weeks ago in front of the school with teenagers riding e-bikes and not being respectful and actually almost mowing me over with an e-bike. So I'm really glad that you brought that up, and it's something that definitely the health department would want to work on. So part of bike improvements would be bike lanes, trails and paths, and bike parking. Public transit improvements, that would be putting up bus shelters, which is something that we worked on in the last couple of years. Waiting areas being well lit, and then trees and green space like lawns and neighborhoods and parking and landscaping, improving all of that. So it's different things that are part of a complete streets look, approach, and policy. Do you have any questions?
I do.
Yes.
What's a good city in the area to see where they've improved? Has Gibsonburg really made any improvements, or Clyde where it's noticeable?
Where it's noticeable, actually, in Clyde, one project that we did last year, which you may notice, and I can't think of the street, but it's part of Maple Street, but it's closer to Maine. What we did where the bike path or the North Coast Inland Trail crosses over Maple Street, there was no crossing there, and there was nothing to signal that there were bikers that would be crossing or pedestrians that would be crossing the trail over that street. So the Creating Healthy Communities grant did fund to purchase some signs that had the flashing beacons, painted the crosswalk, or painted a crosswalk, and then we also purchased they're like small movable signs in the middle of the street that says yield to pedestrians and bicyclists. So that's one thing that they did, and that was just kind of like a trial project.
We
For
already
them to
implement
look at.
a lot of this, like, around all the schools already.
We
have-
follow the policy.
We have bus stops for
Yes.
trips at the high school,
Yeah.
at the library, at
Yeah.
Walmart.
I think
Yeah.
you're referring to Amanda Street over in
Mhm.
Clyde.
So it's actually looking, part of the policy is actually taking a different approach and looking and evaluating things differently than saying, okay, we are going to this year work on State Street, Fifth Street, Sixth Street. You're actually going to maybe take into account maybe pockets of the community that are, have lower income, pockets of the community that have people that are walking more and you want them to be safer, those types of things. So you're actually doing a little bit more like investigating with this and going from there instead of just like having a list and checking it off. You're actually doing some evaluations and going from there. So it's actually guiding the structure.
You mentioned grants. Are there grants available, or is the city
Mhm.
going to be responsible for a lot of these fees?
We have utilized the grant program through the health department on these projects, several.
There is no money involved in having the complete streets policy. The policy actually helps you as a community obtain grants through ODOT. I want to say Gibsonburg, they were able to obtain a substantial amount to do a study on Madison Street, I want to say. And what really helped them was having the complete streets policy in place.
And Councilman, and someone else correct me, but when I saw this, I thought we already passed this, but in 2018, we said we were gonna adopt a
Yes,
policy.
that was May of 2018.
Yes, and now we're getting here.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, so I'm like,
We've been
goodness.
following.
So we've been following it, we've been on the books, sort
Yes,
of.
yes.
And from my standpoint, I'm not against passing it, but I'm not totally in favor of passing it either, because there's times that you can't comply with the complete streets program. I mean, money is a barrier on some of these things.
But there's no punishment mechanism if we don't.
No.
So-
There's no punishment, but my reservation is this, and I'm not against it, I'm just telling you my reservation. Because I had the ability to not even partake in this, but I did allow the city and Tucker to move forward and partake in it. There are substantial costs to some of these things. And Laura herself was very helpful on helping us resolve the specific situation over at Fremont High School.
Yes,
when
they
we-
were in those.
Yeah, and
Okay.
as a result of part of this plan, we were able to kind of bring that situation in and work together. to get that cost, and to get that resolved. However, that was a situation that I believe was in dire need of getting hit. Why? Because we had 2 accidents where
In a short amount of time.
in a short amount of time. But I guess what I'm saying is, some of the signalization and things like that, the cost could be higher on projects where we may not, as a city, be able to afford to do that. And some of the grants, like we always say, the grants are good if you got the matching dollars. So,
But would this help us get matching dollars?
Yes.
This
it
be more of
does.
a, more of a plus to do that?
It does. However, then there's certain things you have to do
Right.
that you have to make sure that that grant is worth, the amount of money that you're receiving is worth doing the amount of work that needs to be done, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
There's a list of funding opportunities that look at complete streets policies. So it's endorsed by the federal transportation.
And
Is this
under-
anything on residentials?
What's
Like
that?
with the people that own the properties,
It's
nothing?
more strategic planning for the city.
Okay, gotcha.
Mhm.
And like I said, we have followed to the best of our ability the plan, but there are times that you can't look exactly. And I just don't want to be boxed in as a city and say, well, you passed this plan and then you're not following it. Does that make sense?
Does volunteer work come into any of this, possibly, that?
This is making physical changes to areas.
Yeah, I just didn't know if
Overtime.
volunteerism could help with cut down some of that cost,
Or
or.
to volunteer some money.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Well, that's really what it is.
What if you volunteer time?
Volunteer dress event.
it's cost.
I don't think
It's
it's
just,
really too much.
I'm not saying it's wasteful cost. I'm
Right.
just saying it's cost.
There's a cost.
Yes. It's
As
not
with
just,
anything, no.
it almost, I'll give you an example. We have road issues in Fremont, okay? There's times that we just have to mill and fill. There's times that we just have to use the dollars we have to mill and fill. That we just need to have roads that don't have major potholes in them. So when we mill and fill a road, I can't have council or anyone else say, well, you didn't do all of these 3 things that you should have done on that road to be in compliance with the complete street program when you were doing a mill and fill. Does that make sense? Because we're just doing everything we can to get blacktop on a road at this point.
Right.
So, now, I say that in full respect, that when we can, we want to try to make the improvements that we can to meet the standards of complete streets. For example, let me give you an example as we're looking at this right now, because this conversation is not going to stop after today. So, when you look at that the top right picture, okay? We just received major federal and state money to redo State Street. The before picture is 2 lanes. Imagine that being State Street, right? Do you want State Street to go to 1 lane each way?
No.
Well,
That's an example of
What could happen.
what could happen
Maybe
if
not.
you follow complete streets.
Well, it's not following complete streets, it's taking into consideration all users. And it doesn't say that the picture is what has to be done.
No, I get it, but I'm-
It's giving you what it could look like if you consider people that are walking and biking, and that you can still get all of those people accommodated on a street.
I
So that's pretty much what
I
it's
understand
showing.
what you're saying, but from my perspective, it's a little different from yours.
Mhm.
Because there are people that will say, if you're doing complete streets, this goes down to 1 lane and not stay in 2 lanes, right?
You're either
Is it
100%
an
or 0%.
interpretation issue?
Is it? Well, I don't know, it's what the picture shows.
Is it an interpretation issue? Like, I just want to say, I would like to take the mayor's argument here, that we're going to take State Street from 4 lanes to 2 lanes with bike lanes and pedestrian lanes. Is it an interpretation issue per community, or is that like, if you accept dollars, that's what has to happen?
No, it's really not anything in the policy says that you have to spend more money to make these improvements, because you're already, every single year, you probably have projects that you have planned that you're gonna be working on.
Kind of, though,
But
kind of. That's
you're
not necessarily
going-
true.
You're going to possibly look at, if you're going to, let's say, let's take Fane-Boner and North Street, okay, the pedestrian signals that were put up. So, you look at that, and there are some things now that I go back and I look at after doing evaluations and talking to people that are using that area, and they point out some things that it's not accessible in some areas, and there are no signals or audible signals for people that are blind. So this policy basically says, from now on, you are actually going to take those things into consideration. If it's in your budget, yes, go for it. But if it's not, it's okay.
No,
But
and
you're
I-
just gonna work and
I
work
agree
and
with
work
you.
at it.
I agree with that, so I'm saying what you're saying differently. I'm saying we are already trying our best as a city to do that under the current circumstances that we have today. When we pass a resolution, then it kind of just intensifies it a little bit to say, well, you passed a resolution there that you were gonna follow this. And I'm just not committed to being boxed in. I'm committed to, we would do the best of our ability as a city to comply with what we had discussed in 2018. And this is why I say that, and I'm just saying this to council so you understand, because we have SS4A dollars today, there's Safe Streets for All dollars. We are very close to losing that money because of the different changes in federal government. One administration said you have to do this, do, and there's a list. And there were words being used, and such as DEI and other terms that were used that are the same but different in Safe Streets for All. And then if we weren't going to comply with those, with that language, then we were basically threatened to lose the funding. And it was major money, major money, okay? So the amount of hours that I have in conversations that the public doesn't know, going back and forth with our federal officials, Councilman doesn't know because I think he assisted in that a little bit. But to make sure that we were able to do, because if you remember, we had a meeting here and we had a presentation. And it wasn't from Laura, but the other lady, someone asked the question, and it was when Shari was here, and someone asked the question, if we do this, can we still do what we want, or are these guidelines? And they were like, well, you can still do what you want, and you can still make your decision on what you want. Well, the answer is yes, you can, but you also can't if you want this money. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's why I'm cautious. I'm reserved on boxing the city into anything. Not saying that we can't follow guidelines, not saying that under my administration we have always been. We can't be partners with the health department. I'm not saying any of that. I'm not saying that we won't take these things into consideration. What I'm saying is I'm hesitant on boxing the city into.
Well, can we just consider this the first reading and then discuss it further?
Yes, but I know this is the time to have the conversation.
Right.
So,
I totally agree.
Can I interrupt again?
sure,
So the dollars you said we were close to like losing,
yes.
explain that again. What is that program?
So that's called SS4A.
And how does this program we're discussing affect SS4A?
Actually, you have to have a complete streets policy for SS4A.
That's not true because we got the grant without an SS4A.
Well, you have to implement a complete streets policy. That was part of the, when we met with the Transportation Advisory Committee, that was one of the stipulations is having a complete streets policy.
We do not have to have it because we got the grant, we don't have to.
But we had the resolution, but we had already passed the resolution saying we were gonna formulate one.
And how does it
I
relate?
mean,
I'm just asking because I hear what you're saying, I hear what she's saying, and it's very conflicting. So I want to know, do federal dollars affect this program and why do they not?
I don't know
why do
whether
they-
they-
Why do they not flow together? I'm just asking because I don't understand.
I don't know whether they affect it or not. I think that this could complement grants in a lot of many ways, but I also am afraid it could conflict with grants and other ways.
So the SS4A and what you just said, that you have to have the policy in place, where, just so the public understands, because this is a really heavy conversation.
Sure.
Could you say what you said again, and then, just because I just want to make sure that everyone hears what you just said.
So through the Transportation Advisory Committee meeting that we had to write the grant proposal, would,
Yes.
I want to say?
Correct.
Yes, and so the last meeting, which was March of 2024, because that's when I talked to Tucker about.
And I'm sorry, you've said Tucker twice without any reference to who Tucker is. So can you please explain
Our
to the public who Tucker
Our
is?
Tucker is the city engineer.
Yes, Tucker Frederickson.
Yes.
Just want to make sure that the public understands. You've said Tucker twice. We want to make sure that everyone understands who's watching on streaming or internet, that Tucker Frederickson is our city engineer. That's all I'm saying. I just want to make sure everyone understands that.
So at that meeting, there was a basic PowerPoint that came out, and having a continuous policy as part of being able to apply for that grant, which I know it was, the way that it was done was organized, but then getting everybody together and doing a complete streets policy takes a very long time to do. So you didn't have to have the complete streets policy in place to actually apply for it,
Correct.
but eventually you should have a complete streets policy in place.
And you're not wrong, but the only word that we're not disagreeing is should, is my, again, I'm not against a complete streets policy, but
These don't
there-
get boxed in.
there's things in policies that could be subject to change.
May I say one thing before this is all over?
Sure.
When we talked about State Street, to let the community know that this was only an example, we're not gonna get rid of 4 lanes down State Street.
You can say that.
You just
Okay.
said
I
it.
just
Let's
said
move
it.
on.
One thing before you go, one thing I did like when I reviewed the policy was that the engineer and his department is supposed to look around the town and make a list of areas that need improvement, what we can do better for accessibility. And I think that's an important piece. I also like that he's supposed to give us a report every 2 years. I think that's pretty good too. And I didn't read the policy as strictly as you did, Mr. Mayor, but we may be looking at different parts of it.
No, it's a great policy. I think Mr. Frost has I don't even know if you sent out the draft.
The draft policy.
Somebody did because I
Yeah,
read part of
yeah,
it.
that's
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Yep, we had it.
And it does say in there, when you read it, it does say there are things that, if essentially, if money is a factor and the city can't comply based off of financial barriers and things like that. So there are good explanations. But I just want to talk about it out loud a little bit. Mr. Frazier had some good questions, and so did Mr. Oddie. Because there are dollar impacts on some of these things.
Big time.
Yes.
There is a National Complete Streets Coalition, and that is actually the structure that we use to write the policy. And I do have the latest best complete streets policies of 2025 that was just released a couple months ago. So I can let you look at this, and it doesn't have case studies in it. And so it might give you a little bit more background and information about what other communities have done. And Clyde is actually featured as a case study. Clyde was number 3 as one of the best, or the 3rd best complete streets policy written in the nation of all that were submitted from 2023 to 2025.
So we can,
Which is a very big honor.
We need to soak a lot of this information
we just need to, I think, gather up more information, and it's a first reading, and maybe have somebody else here too with you supporting whatever at the next reading to maybe help us absorb it.
Well,
even
Tucker
more.
should talk.
Or Tucker, yeah, right,
What's his first name?
because I don't think any of us is against it.
Get the person from Clyde that wrote the nation's best.
That was me.
Oh,
Me, and the work group. That's, and the work group. So, and it involved like 6 to 7 stakeholders. So if you want to look at this, you can.
Okay, this will constitute the first reading, and we can discuss it later on.
Anybody else want to?
Yeah, I would like.
Yeah, and you can look at it. I can get more copies. That's fine.
Council Clerk, would you please read item number 4?
First
Thank you.
reading of an ordinance to authorize the expenditure and direct the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract with RMF Neuter LLC in an amount not to exceed $343,750.00 for the water treatment plant line system improvement project and declaring an emergency.
Madam President, if I may?
This is obviously exactly what it states, improvement to our water treatment plant. What the issue was there is the EPA came in and I would begrudgingly call this an unfunded mandate. We had changed nothing in our process over the past several years, no changing equipment. They came in and didn't like the amount of lime dust that was in the air, which is now forcing us to make these improvements. And without these improvements, we could face a penalty if we don't make the improvements. So
Do you have to have a monitor in there?
I think it does involve a monitor as well, but I think we have one in there already, just don't think it was good enough. So I would ask that council suspend rule 4 so we can get this done to avoid any further conflict with you.
Yeah, you don't want to
Suspend Rule 4.
I second.
It has been moved to suspend Rule 4 by Mr. Elder and seconded by Mr. Frazier. Roll call, please.
Frazier?
Yes.
Addie?
yes.
Elder?
Yes.
Lible?
Yes.
Reese?
Yes.
Sleep?
Move to adopt.
Second.
It has been moved to adopt by Mr. Livo, seconded by Mr. Elder. Roll call, please.
Addie?
Yes.
Elder?
Yes.
Lible?
Yes.
Reese?
Yes.
Sleep?
Yes,
Frazier?
Yes.
Council Clerk, please read item number 5.
First reading of an ordinance adopting the indigent burial and cremation policy for the city of Fremont and declaring an emergency.
Now
This is
you're
me?
on. Now you're on.
All right, so indigent burial. I'm not sure how familiar any of the council people are about what indigent burial is. I was not until I took this job. If a resident of the city has no means to pay for their funeral or cremation, it's the responsibility of the municipality to actually pay for that. We've done it several times, becoming more frequent, but be quite honest with you, we follow exactly what the state code is, which is exactly what that policy is. The reason why I wanted to put in policy is very simple. I wanted to have something that I could pass out to the funeral homes, because it's not only funeral homes in town. An example is we had a gentleman unfortunately passed away in Port Clinton, indigent. He was from here in Fremont. We had to contact, well, they contacted us, but there was some back and forth between the funeral homes in Port Clinton of exactly what we do and the amount of money we pay for, and a lot of questions need to be asked. It would have been a lot easier, save my staff a lot of phone time if I just had a policy in place that this is what it is. We aren't doing anything different than we've done for the past 10 years. honestly.
If I understand correctly, the area funeral homes take turns being on call for these incidents?
I believe so, yeah.
So if an indigent person does pass, whoever the funeral home that's on call gets it. So it's not one that a family has chosen, it's whatever funeral is currently on call. And they take care of all the matters at hand and then build the city.
They build a city, correct, right?
So,
But a lot of them have questions about what exactly.
right, you don't know exactly.
I just figure if we put it in a policy, you're like, here it is, it's exact, you have it all right.
I'd like to make a motion to suspend Rule 4.
Second.
It has been moved by Mr. Elder to suspend Rule 4, seconded by Mr. Frazier.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my only discussion, I know we're on the suspension, but I haven't seen the resolution or ordinance.
You haven't?
No.
I
No,
thought I
because
said.
it was added on.
Oh, may have
It may have just been a me problem, but.
Okay.
No, you did. I'll be happy to rescind the motion to have a first reading when we discussed it.
That's fine.
Second reading?
Yeah, I'll make sure I get it, I'll go upstairs and send it to you right now.
Let's just constitute the first reading then. I'll rescind the motion.
Okay, Mr. Elder has agreed to rescind his motion, and this will constitute first reading. And Mr. Frost will send us a copy of this.
Yeah. You have a problem with yours?
Yeah, mine's out there now.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just
No, you're
thinking
fine.
maybe we might have a problem with our computers or IT or something.
Okay, that was the last of our readings. We'll have some committee reports.
I'll go first. Just want to remind the public of the trunk or treat, October 25th at the Fremont Rec Center from 2 to 5. And we have open sign up for pre-K through third grade for basketball is open. That's all I have.
Mr. Sleek?
Yes, as most of you know, Beck's opened up their new friendship, and they had a grand opening yesterday, or October 1st. What was that, Wednesday, right? Yesterday? That's right. And great turnout, a lot of city officials, a lot of people in general, and if you haven't got a chance to stop in, I highly recommend you do, and get some of that good chicken.
We'll talk about the money they handed out there.
Yeah, exactly, thank you.
Yep.
And if you were in attendance, as I was, the Beck family donated thousands of dollars to different organizations, and
$16,000.
it was 16 total, right? That's what I was getting.
160,000, 16 organizations got $10,000.
That's what it was, that's probably.
I was gonna say, because I saw one check for 10, so, or everything, so, Mr. Gross, I'll let you give the exact numbers, but
Yeah, that's.
But it's awesome, you know, it's a great opportunity to once again see what is happening in Fremont and how a family, as the Becks, donated and supported various businesses, and now they've got an awesome store on the corner there, so. Stop in, gas is cheap there. Right now anyways.
Right. Grand opening.
That's all I've got.
Nothing planned for
Thank you. Mr. Riley, you don't have anything to say about the cemetery? Mr. Riley, the cemetery?
The cemetery. What do you want me to say? They did a heck of a job cleaning up the weeds that were down there. There wasn't too much help. Angie did probably 90% of it. 95%. You know, we put out a email to you guys that are on council. We didn't really get a response. I know, I think Seth, you said you were busy or something that day with the game, but it is our cemetery. It's all of our city council's cemetery. You have to keep in mind. But Angie did a fantastic job. For about the last 2 weeks, if not more, they've been carrying out wood and weeds and all kinds of things from the back side of that cemetery. So the city, I don't know if it's the street or parks department or in conjunction with both, is cleaning it up back there.
Do you really?
No, he is
I think it's Steve.
Poking the bear.
poking the bear.
No, I'm sorry, but I did get spastic on that because I looked at the amount of work there and it overwhelmed me. I thought, I can't get this done, you know, I'm just about getting up and everything. So when I found out that nobody's gonna help me, I thought I better either sink or swim, so I pulled them something.
Madam President Pro Tem, if I get a chance here to redeem myself, I worded it wrong. Maybe we could get somebody from Clyde that it is affected, how it is affected, which I would see, would maybe be their city manager. to get a better line on that complete streets if we go that far. I know it came out kind of smile on it. That's all right.
I'm just trying to figure out how we do
Oh, I knew that. But anyway, though, I have no other
Redeem
comments.
himself.
Thank you, Angie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Just want to remind everyone, there's a lot going on this weekend. Just like last weekend, you have the Sauerkraut Fest downtown, Friday and Saturday. Also, Fremont Community Theater has a show going on this week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then also the Cruise and Car Show will take place all day Sunday from approximately 12 o'clock, 11 or 12 o'clock a.m. at Roger Young Park. There will be 4 to 5 different food trucks throughout the park, all the way up until 4 o'clock p.m. At 4 o'clock p.m., all of the classic cars will be escorted from Roger Young Park in a parade through downtown. And then the cars will go out on State Street from Front Street. There will be officers at the intersections of downtown Fremont, just making sure the flow continues. From 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, you know, you will see people cruising State Street on what would typically be a quiet Sunday evening. Hopefully the community can get out and enjoy themselves like they have in years past and just have fun. So the weather looks beautiful all weekend. It's just another opportunity for all of us to get out. So I know this week has been a very busy week for our administration and our team. And then we're going to continue through the weekend. So I know Ken Mott and I have been very busy this weekend. There will be events we'll be at all weekend. So just want to invite you all out. And hopefully it's all in good fun.
What time does that cruising start?
12 o'clock to 4 o'clock, I believe, at Roger Young Park is when the actual car show is and the judging contest is. And then at 4 o'clock, all of the vehicles will be traveling down Front Street in a parade. So hopefully there's people lined up on Front Street to cheer on them.
And the Browns play at 9:30, so we can get the misery out of the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the spirit.
There's always next season.
The park,
I know.
the park will be, there will be people monitoring the parking people. There's a layout that they have prepared. If you're looking to get into the park, you should enter the park from Front Street.
And will I be able to go all the way down to front or no?
I don't know the answer to that. This is not a city of Fremont event. They will be kind of managing the flow of traffic.
I was thinking if somebody was handicapped, but I didn't know. I don't think you just drive through the park and see.
Okay, so we're gonna have the cruising on next Sunday. So, Mrs. Elder, our
Thank you.
treasurer, do you have?
Thank you,
anything?
Madam Pro Tem, yes. I would just like to thank the county health department for being here this evening to discuss the streets program for the city of Fremont. And I think it was a very healthy conversation. You know, really, we haven't been able to pass an income tax increase. The only way we're going to have better streets in the city is by tax dollars. And when we can't pass an income tax increase for that, it's thousands of hours of manpower and woman power to try to figure out where we're going to get the money to improve our streets and our pathways, regardless of whether they're pedestrian, bikes, cars, whatever. It's a lot of work to try to figure out where these dollars are coming from when we don't have the tax dollars to pay for it. So I really want to thank everyone for all the work they do to try to figure out where these dollars are coming from. And it's just a difficult situation that we're all in, and I think that this was a very healthy conversation tonight to discuss the pros and cons of all of this, and hopefully we can find a resolution to make our streets better. And hopefully the next time an income tax increase comes on the ballot, the residents of Fremont will consider the fact that it isn't it's for your children. It isn't just for the cars, it's for our entire community, so thank you.
Well said.
Thank you, Mrs. Melvin. Mr. Cross.
Hey,
Thank you, Mr. Burns.
just two quick things, just to echo what Councilman Sleet said. I just want to thank Beck Supplies for their investment into our community. They didn't have to do that. That was already a profitable store for them. It's a great addition. It's an expensive investment, and they're a local company. So anytime you have a chance to support local, you should do that because so much more of the money spent locally stays local. If you get to any of the youth sports programs in our community, you see the t-shirts that the kids wear, and there's companies' names on there, and Beck Supplies is sponsored right on those t-shirts. And then what Councilman Sleek alluded to is, having been here for 10 years, I don't think I've ever seen this at a grand opening, but they gave away $160,000 to $10,000 checks apiece to 16 different nonprofit organizations that, service our community. And so, the investment alone is something we should be grateful for, but just the willingness for a local company to do that, it's amazing, honestly. And so I just want to recognize and show our gratitude toward Beck Supplies. And then secondly, it is on the health department, it feels like a big health department night here, but it is on the health department's Facebook page, but the community health assessment survey, am I saying it right? That's important. It's a survey that goes out to the public, and you try to solicit as many surveys as you can, because that helps them in the next 5 years as they plan, as they apply for grants. And so that information is vital because it's kind of fed into then, it seems like that's a lot of the data collection to the state health department, and then, then you kind of, they gather that data from Sandusky County into other counties, and it just kind of helps direct the state's health department. So if we don't have participation, funding for health departments could be at risk. If we have, I just feel like the greater input, the greater service, the more surveys that are filled out, the louder our voices are heard.
Well, a lot of local organizations use it to drive their policies and programs, like the YMCA and things, so it's on their main page of their homepage, you can't miss it.
So it's on their website and Facebook page. So, and if you see it, if you, as an elected official, maybe you want to share it. That's all I have, Madam President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gross. Is there anybody out in the public that would like to make a comment?
I think he just wants to tell us the Tigers won. One thing. Yeah.
I didn't say it, he did.
No, I know. How can
It's
you
awesome.
answer?
I have a few things. I was told that my street was done, and I hadn't even noticed they had worked on it, so I was just trying to see if anybody knew when my street was going to get done.
Good question.
When is it? I haven't been down to your street. Is the paving, hasn't started over there yet?
No,
Okay.
And who is your city councilman?
it's me. I appreciate everybody pointing that out. Thank you.
And the other thing is, about the sidewalks, you said, you're talking about sidewalks, is that, do you have to, I asked about sidewalks last time I was here, and they said that you have, the owners are responsible for the sidewalks, what do you say?
That really doesn't have much to do with the Complete Streets policy. Complete Streets is a different approach.
All right. And I think that's it, I just want to make sure that, everybody knew about the street.
Thank you very much, Mr. Burns.
We can talk again on our Thursday call.
Donuts for
Madam
sale.
President, I have just one thing for the public to know. Monday, October 6th, Saturday, October 11th, Walsh Park will be packed with cross-country athletes. Monday it'll be like from 3:30 to 7, and then Saturday, October 11th will probably be like 8 to noon. So Morrison Street should be pretty crowded, just be careful. That's all I have to say. When I say crowded, what I mean, Perrysburg Middle School have 3 busloads full of kids, and that's just one of 11 schools. that will participate in Monday, so just
Does that be
FYI.
during the day or
It's coming
night?
Monday.
What's
So,
October 11th?
and October 11th is the high school version of it, just as large.
Should have them run with flashlights.
It won't be that dark.
Well, I understand, but you can still see a light in the day.
Yeah. That's all I have.
Thank you
So,
very much, Mr.
Thank you.
President,
Okay,
I move to adjourn.
That's
Thank
like-
thank you. It has been moved and seconded to adjourn.
Elder,
Yes.
Weigel,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Sleek,
Yes.
Frazier,
Yes.
Todd.
Yes.